So the UFC has announced their return to UFC Manchester. And they announced it at their new arena, the Co-op. And a lot of people are wondering what the main event is going to be, what the co-main event is going to be, what the card is going to look like. So I built my ideal card for UFC Manchester, UFC 304. And I'm going to go through I'm just going to go through the entire thing. Starting off, let's just get this done really quick. Starting off with the early prelim one, we have Jake Hadley versus Osborne as my early prelim opener. I know this doesn't really line up the best. Osborne had just fought. Jake Hadley has a fight booked, but this is all based on if these guys didn't have fight booked. I think this would be good because Jake Hadley's coming off a loss, Osborne back-to-back losses. It'd be a good opportunity for both of these guys to get back into the win column. It'd be a good way to have like a nice upcoming prospect that's from the UK on the card, opening it up. And there's no female fights on this card. Just putting that out there. Couldn't be bothered to look through. And I like the matchup. I think it's a good matchup. I think it's a fun matchup. Both exciting fighters. And I think it'd be a good way to open up the card. Next up, we'd have Cowlin Logren versus Bekzat Al-Makan. Now, we can't have all UK fighters. It'd be pretty fucking difficult. Some things just wouldn't line up. So we're going to take a European fighter versus a Caucasus fighter. Or a Kazakh fighter. This would be good. Cowlin Logren, another young, up-and-coming European fighter that I think the UK fans would get behind. Bekzat Al-Makan, he just fought Umar Nurmagomedov. He has a name behind him now for fighting Umar. He dropped Umar, so people are aware of the danger that this man possesses on the feet because he was able to drop a man with the name Nurmagomedov. I think it'd be a good opportunity to see if Bekzat Al-Makan really has all the skills. And I think it'd be a good way to see if Cowlin Logren is, ready for a good step up in competition. Next up, again, like I said, we can't have all UK fighters, but I think from this point, I put only UK fighters. We have Hakeem Dawodu versus Charles Jourdain. Hakeem Dawodu coming off back-to-back losses. Charles Jourdain coming off a loss. Charles Jourdain is a pretty exciting fighter. He likes to stand in the middle and throw hands. He's a lot more calculated than he used to be, but he is a very exciting fighter. Hakeem Dawodu, a very fast and explosive striker, and I think it'd be a great matchup. I think it'd get the fans excited. I think it'd be a good way to get the fans in the stadium riled up. People watching at home, it'd get them excited. It'd be a good fight of the night contender for the early prelims. Can you hear my dogs? That's embarrassing. For the prelims, for the start of the prelims, so this would be 7 p.m. U.S. time. That's kind of fucked up how they did the UK fellas dirty. With their fucking, we're going to make you start the card at 11 p.m. and have to wait till 3 in the morning to watch the main card. That's fucked up. So the start of the prelims, I have Mark Jacasey versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Both are bouncing back from a kind of embarrassing losses. Mark Jacasey got submitted by Joel Alvarez. Ignacio Bahamondes got schooled by Ludovic Klein, but both were able to make a comeback. Mark Jacasey made a comeback. I forget his opponent's name. I know it was almost a bullshit decision because his opponent arguably lost every round and somehow got a 29-28 on the scorecards. But he's come back over with a split decision in November. And Ignacio Bahamondes just had a great comeback win against what's his face, Christos Giagos. So I think it'd be a good way to see get these guys back in here and get two lightweight prospects back in there with the UK fighter on the card. Next up, we have Sam Patterson versus Kenan Song. Sam Patterson is making a comeback. He just made a comeback against Johan Lays. Kenan Song is coming off a loss. Sam Patterson, again, He's he just moved back up to welterweight. He fought at lightweight and got slept by Ashmouz. So I feel like he's a UK fighter. It'd be good to get him back on this card. A guy like Kenan Song would be good for him. Kenan Song carries some power in his hands, so it'd be good to see if Patterson's chin holds up better at fucking my brain is fucking dying. It'd be good to see if Patterson's chin holds up against a guy like Kenan Song, or see if his chin could just hold up at welterweight at all. But it'd be a good matchup. Again, another UK guy. Gets the crowd behind him, gets the crowd active, just hearing from whatever England. It'd be good. I pressed it a little early. But our third prelim, Christian Leroy Duncan versus Magomed Muradov. Magomed Muradov hasn't fought at all this year. He had a fight against Alyashka Kizriev, but it got stopped due to a bad eye poke. I think by the time this card would have come around, he'd be ready for a fight. Christian Leroy Duncan, upcoming UK prospect, showed a really good skill set in his last fight, but has only fought guys coming off losses in his last two. So a guy like Magomed Muradov, who's coming off a win. Muradov has a really big following on Instagram. It's because he, I think, trains with Mayweather. But he has a really big following on Instagram. So it'd be good for Christian Leroy Duncan to, steal some of those followers from Magomed Muradov and build his name up more and maybe find his way into the rankings. For the featured prelim of the night, Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Mick Parkin. What the fuck? Why does de Lima look like that? Oh, he does not look like that usually. Mick Parkin, 3 wins in a row. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, he's he's coming off a win over Junior Tafa. I think this would be a good fight. I think it'd be a really good fight. Mick Parkin, likes to stand. Marcos Rogerio de Lima has some grappling, so I think he could, if de Lima, has the advantage on the feet, he could keep it on the feet or take it to the ground when he wants. But Mick Parkin, he likes to stand and throw. He's a solid technical heavyweight, but he's fat and he's kind of slow. Marcos Rogerio de Lima is surprisingly fast and heavy-handed for a heavyweight. And Marcos Rogerio de Lima is number 15 right now. He's the top 15 fighter. It'd be a good way to get an English fighter into the top 15, and it'd be a good fight that gets the English fans hyped up for their guy. This is his big opportunity, and he's undefeated, so it'd bring a lot of attention. Oh, shit, yeah. The main card opener. I know people aren't going to agree with this. They're probably going to say his opponent should be Bobby Green, and I don't mind the Bobby Green matchup. If they do Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green, I'm not going to be shocked. I would rather this, though, because I want people to realize that I don't want Paddy to get embarrassed in front of his fans, and I want Mike Davis to be built up. Here's the thing. Paddy Pimblett is not completely god-awful hopeless. He's still young. He still has some opportunity to learn and grow. I just have a feeling that the odds are going to be unreasonably close. Like, they're going to have, Mike Davis as maybe, a minus 150. If you have seen Mike Davis fight, he should, in theory, beat the living shit out of Paddy Pimblett. If you have seen Mike Davis fight, he should, in theory, beat the ever-living shit out of Paddy Pimblett. Leaves his chin up in the air, no head movement. Mike Davis should, in theory, beat the living fuck out of Paddy Pimblett. And the hardcore fans know that Mike Davis should, in theory, beat the fuck out of Paddy Pimblett. So if Paddy Pimblett manages to pull this off, it'd be a really good win. Mike Davis is on a 4-fight win streak right now. He beat, Mason Jones. He's beaten Natan Levy, Vyacheslav Borshev. All great upcoming prospects. these would be really this would be a really good name that would actually make me believe in Paddy Pimblett having even a remote chance at title contention, even making it into the top 10. This would be a win that would give me some hope in picking Paddy Pimblett in the future. So I think it's a great matchup. I think Mike Davis would shit all over Paddy Pimblett, but if Paddy Pimblett would get this win, it would put some faith in Paddy Pimblett, and I think it would put a faith in a lot of people's hearts for Paddy Pimblett. Next up, you guys already saw it. Arnold Allen versus Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez and Arnold Allen are both coming off back-to-back losses. Yair showed how soy and weak he was in the grappling against Brian Ortega. Arnold Allen showed how much of a Chad he was by throwing illegal knees at Movsar Evloev's 6-time non-play. First off, I think Arnold Allen should have won that fight against Movsar. I really do believe so. But it was a close fight. I think Yair is just open on the feet. I think Arnold Allen does well. I think Yair doesn't do as well moving on the back foot, but Arnold Allen does really well moving on the back foot. He has really deceptively fast hands. He is incredibly fast, super sharp, and super heavy-handed. I think if he lands a solid 1-2 on Yair, Volk was able to rock Yair with like a big, meaty, like right hook. I think if Arnold Allen lands a sharp 1-2, he would beat the fuck out of Yair. And I think if Arnold Allen ends up on the ground with Yair, he could. I think he could sub him, and I think he could ragdoll Yair. I think this would be a good bounce back for Arnold Allen, and Arnold Allen is a big UK name, big UK fan favorite. He it's a good top 10 fight. It'd be a good way to get Arnold Allen back in the top 5, and just a great matchup for this card. Great exciting matchup. Next up, Michael Venom Page versus Stefan Wonderboy Thompson. Some people don't like this matchup. Some people love this matchup. This is a matchup that should be made. Because this is the matchup when Michael Venom Page first got signed that everyone was thinking about. They wanted to see the two karate-style fighters duke it out. And I think it'd be a great matchup. Michael Page, huge star. I know he's lower ranked. This is a lower ranked fight than Yair versus Allen. But Michael Venom Page and Wonderboy are both bigger stars than Yair and Arnold Allen separately. Wonderboy is more well known than Allen and Yair, and Page is more well known than Allen and Yair. Both are super exciting files. Page has the crazy spinning kicks, some crazy knockouts. Wonderboy, some people very widely regard him as the best striker in UFC history in terms of pure striking. I think it'd just be a great matchup. I think it'd be a great overall matchup. And I think it's something that the fans would really get hyped up to see. I think in terms of name value, in terms of styles, the fans would get really hyped up to see this fight. And the co-main, you guys already know what it is probably. The co-main is going to be Tom Aspinall versus Chris Curtis. Tom Aspinall versus Chris Curtis. I said Chris Curtis. I meant Curtis Blades. I saw the Curtis and I was like, Chris Curtis got robbed against Brendan Allen. No, but Tom Aspinall, John Jones clearly isn't coming back to fight him. Fucking Curtis Blades just beat Jalton Almeida. Tom Aspinall's only UFC loss is to Curtis Blades because he blew his knee out. It'd be a good rematch, good chance for Tom Aspinall to get his get back, and overall exciting matchup. And main event, Leon Edwards with Belal Muhammad. The only reason Edwards and Muhammad is gonna be above Blades and Aspinall is because Edwards is the undisputed champion and Aspinall is the interim champion. So I think they're probably gonna put the undisputed bout above the interim bout. However, I don't think this is gonna be a terrible matchup and terribly boring. Belal Muhammad, yes, pillow fisted, yes, boring. I think the fact that he's going to put a pace on Leon, it's going to force Leon to do something. Leon is a very passive counter fighter. I think if Belal tries to stand on the feet with him and throw, he's going to throw at a higher rate, and it's going to force Leon to try and match that rate that Belal is throwing. And he's going to have to. It's going to force Leon to match the pace that Belal is putting in order to win the rounds. And I honestly do see Leon Edwards getting a knockout and making it exciting through the knockout. Or making it at least somewhat memorable through the knockout. But, Belal Muhammad deserves the shot at this point, so he could shut the fuck up about it. Leon Edwards, fucking... That's 12 fights in a row. That's 12 fights. I believe I deserve the fight for the title. Edwards, you've defended your belt twice. You have 3 title wins. That's 12 in a row. Whatever he says. I don't know what he fucking says. I think he says that's 12 in a row. Does it 12 wins in the 1-0 contest consecutively? I don't know. But it's a rematch, bad blood. I think it'd make for an entertaining press conference about dispute thing, shit on my bob. But all in all, great card. I think this is the card that people would want to see. I think this is the card that makes the most sense, in my opinion. And tell me you guys' thoughts down below. And tell me what matchups you would have done differently or how you would have ordered the card differently. Thank you. Goodbye.